A bit of a different setting today. I'm actually inside of a trampoline because the light today is so bad. It seems very bad outside as well. It's very strangely orange. So sorry about that. But yeah, today I want to talk about spirituality a bit more. My video about human design being toxic, I titled it "I'm Done with All Spiritual Systems." It created some debates in human design communities where people are now trying to convince themselves that human design is not a spiritual system. Whatever you believe, if you believe that human design is right there next to law and economics, I don't care. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter what you title it. It still does not change my point and my experience within that community. Now, there's something really weird going on in spirituality that most people don't even notice. They're just learned to believe that this is a good thing. That everything in whatever kind of spiritual system, whatever kind of idea that is trying to separate you from the material world, it comes with getting away from your mind. It's always about stop thinking, don't trust your mind, don't trust your thoughts, stop making decisions out of the mind, just be in your body. Mind is the illusion. And that, sounds good. We're used to hearing this, and then we automatically see it as the truth. We see it as something that makes sense. We have to believe this. But even the most, materially removed ideas also need to be questioned. Questioning is not just reserved for ideas that, spirituality doesn't agree with. It's for the spirituality itself. So, yeah, overthinking sucks, anxiety sucks, social anxiety sucks big time. But if you actually think about what they're doing with this advice, um, I believe it's basis for brainwashing. Human design will tell you mind is wrong, you have to stop thinking, you have to stop listening to it, and instead we will tell you how to live. We will give you the strategy that you are supposed to live by, the way you're supposed to make decisions, and every decision in your life is supposed to be made in the exact same way based on, the coloring on your chart. Um, it also very often what these systems do, human design included, they try to remove you from other people, which is a good thing when you're trying to find yourself and trying to uncover who you are, what your preferences are, what your desires are, away aside from the constant influence, from the constant um, stimulation from other people on social media and stuff. But it is also the way to isolate you and to, you know, just reframe your mind, your thinking in a different way. Human design does not remove you from the mind, it just reshapes your thinking because now you have to think about this new strategy. Now you have to think about every time you're asked a question, you have to remember, you have to think about applying how to do this out of your authority. It's not a natural thing, it's just learning a new thing. This is a new recipe for you. So, one big red flag for me in human design straight away was sleeping alone. You're not supposed to sleep with your partner if you want to be correct because their aura is conditioning you even in sleep. That is a recipe to kill intimacy. And yeah, they will say like, yeah, that doesn't apply to sex. It doesn't mean you don't have to have sex ever. It's just you have sex and then you go to sleep in separate rooms. Like, how does that work? How can you then like ever experience any spontaneous intimacy, which is the whole point of it? We're supposed to schedule it around our separated sleep times. Like, it's really odd. And I think, yeah, this entire attempt to isolate you, to make you think that as an individual you are worth more than as, a family or a couple or whatever. It sounds very empowering, which is great for these modern times, but it is also the way to influence you deeply. Now, if you fully believe that your mind is not you, that your mind is totally unreliable, you start trusting everything else way too easily. You will stop questioning, you will stop analyzing anything, you will just start obeying more and more. So even when we look at these yogis in India who go and remove themselves from society and go into a cave and live there for 50 years, whatever, this decision had to come from the mind. The whole point of a decision is that it involves a thinking process. It involves some kind of analysis. It's not, I don't decide with my arm. Like, it's not that my arms are separated from my, you know processes in my head, and my arms are just doing whatever they want. No, it's all in here. It all comes from here. People today have this whole new language. Oh, this resonates. Oh, when I look at these spiritual videos, whatever, then it's always like, I claim this message. It's always about the feeling. This feels right. This feels like it fits. But feelings are not some kind of, truth filter. It's pretty much the opposite of that. You can feel like something is right and be completely wrong. You can feel like this tree should be pink, but it's not, and it will never be. Whatever, regardless of how you feel about it, you can feel aligned while ruining your life completely. You can feel spiritual, you can feel correct, as human design says, while being manipulated. And so without your mind stepping in and going like, does this actually make sense? You're basically just following something. You're just following somebody else's, some other idea. You can brainwash yourself, of course, but you have to be analytical. That is literally what saves us in this life. That is what separates us from, vegetables. Human design teaches generators that they're just here to respond. Just respond. And so that is like what my plants do. They respond to being watered or having a lack of water. Is that what we should, thrive to become? A plant? Are we Do we really believe that we are so simple? We're the most complex organism on earth, and we are trying to minimize that constantly. Mind is always trying its best to save the body. And I am saying this as somebody who is addicted to cigarettes. It is my mind that can think about this as a bad thing. My body is addicted. My body wants this constantly. But my mind, I'm hoping, will one day be able to, explain to me in a convincing enough way why this is bad for me. And that will be the only way I will stop. I will quit, or my body will collapse. Something will go wrong. But it's not that my body saves me from addiction. It doesn't. It's quite the opposite. To get into any type of system, you have to make a decision to get into it. You have to commit to a certain path. You need to start following certain routines. And that's not an instinct thing. It's structure, it's discipline. And that's mind doing its job. The mind is the only thing that can actually interrupt your unhealthy patterns. Your body, it runs on habits. Your emotions are a very automatic, kind of response. And like, if you're stuck in a bad situation, a bad relationship, if you're eating badly, whatever, your body will keep repeating that, will get into a habit of repeating that. Your emotions will justify that. The only thing that can step in and go, this is not working, we need to change something, is the mind. So without it, nothing changes. You just call your patterns your nature, your flow, but that does not mean that they're a good thing. Mind is not broken and mind is not a bad thing. It's just an untrained thing for most of us. If you have it on autopilot, it will spiral, it will create drama, it will overthink like mind does. But it's same as saying like legs are bad because you don't know how to run properly. It's the same thing. The same mind, my mind that creates my anxiety also has the ability to create a strategy for me. It overthinks, but overthinking can lead to finding solutions for problems. So yes, mind can trap you into something, but it can also free you out of that entrapment. It just depends how you use it. And like I've been a couple of months ago, I was reading this book about training your memory. And like when you come into human design, it's very kind of black and white. Oh, I see in your chart you have very bad memory. Oh, you have these variables, those variables, you have very good memory, as if like that cannot change. And I'm a living proof that can change with a very simple, straightforward strategy. And it's this book that I read. I don't even know what it's called. If anyone's interested, I will find it out. But it starts with giving you things to memorize, and you realize how bad you are and how you can't do any of this. But then it shows you a very simple strategy where in 5 minutes you're able to completely switch your thinking, and you're able to memorize up to 100 words in order or out of order. If I call number 5, you know exactly what was under that number 5. If I say number 54, you know what word was there. And it takes no time, but it just depends on your training. You don't have good or bad memory. You don't. You just have trained or untrained mind. But when your mind is not trained enough, or is trained in wrong ways, is trained through different cults, through different systems, through different strategies and recipes, your mind never questions if that thing is helping you, where it's leading you. It's just accepting. And acceptance as a concept is great. I'm accepting my current life situation, which is extremely difficult. But I'm not accepting that they want me to be a vegetable and, stop thinking so that they can tell me how to think. You don't become free this way. Whatever they promise you, you just become very easy to influence. And when we talk about cults today, cults don't work like they did 60 years ago. Like we see through that now. The main argument against human design being a cult is like we're not physically in a community. It's not your body that gets brainwashed or influenced. It's your mind, and that works online as well. Can you imagine? So when someone tells me this, it's not a cult, because we don't have a house and we don't have a place where we all sit and, chant together, whatever. That's nonsense. Um, your body does not care about your long term well being, to be honest. It just cares about comfort in the now. And your emotions care about what feels good, what feels safe now. So only the mind can go, this sucks now, but it can be better for me later, right? Um, so just question it. That's the only thing I would say to people. Question everything. What is in your life? What is there that you never question, that you just assume is correct, is right, is the truth? Because the only thing that can have that, step back and look back at your life and see that something needs to change is your mind. It's not your body. It's not your spleen, as human design likes to say. It's not your, whatever throat and whatever chakra, whatever center. No, it's your thinking. It's the only thing that can influence, seeing things differently, influence a real change. So I think that these systems really should not be about this. Just when somebody tells you to get rid of the mind, to get rid of a part of you, um, that is that is just dangerous to begin with. You know that there is something underneath that. Like, why do you want me to get rid of this? What are you trying to sell me instead? These systems should be about making your mind sharper, making it, clearer. And because once you give up your ability to think clearly, to question things, and to, analyze and decide for yourself, you're not becoming enlightened. You're just becoming very easy to influence, to lead, and to direct.